Hello everyone, this is Sir Charles Cary, national trainer, speaker, and author, and today I want to talk to you about leadership. Now there are probably tons and tons of books on leadership and tons of conversations, videos, etc., but again, I'm coming to you from a place of simplicity and a place that relates to what I speak about, change, transformation. And people talk about leadership and they say that leadership can be lonely, and it can be. And the truth is, because most people aren't doing what you want to do. Most people aren't trying to go where you want to be. In fact, many times people are not even trying. And that's what separates a lot of people from the pack. So, it can be lonely as a leader. And why is it lonely, or why would it be lonely as a leader? Because you're doing things, you're making sacrifices that everyone doesn't want to make. They want the results, but they don't want the sacrifice that comes along with that end result. They want the end result without the sacrifice, and that just doesn't work that way. I mean, I understand their mindset, but you really wouldn't be a very good leader because you wouldn't have experience without going through some things. And again, in other videos coming up, I'll talk to you about some of my most personal leadership and sacrificial experience, as a cancer survivor or as an overcomer of substance abuse. Those are very powerful lessons that I learned. But this is more of a general talk, a really quick one, a general talk about leadership from the perspective of you and me, just really touching base, and something you can take notes with and go out with and relate to, something that you can hear if it resonates with you. And if it does resonate with you and you're already on that path, then you know you're doing the right thing. But if you've never heard it this way, then I'd like to encourage you to try things a little differently so that you can get different results. And then when it comes to being a leader, sometimes you have to do that, and that's what we call risk. Okay, so doing things differently to get different results is something that a leader would do. Now, outside of the lonely factor because you're doing things that other people aren't doing, here's another thing to look at. You have to be willing to really pour into other people. So, if you're that natural born leader, then you're probably the one that's willing to pick up the banner and carry and charge forward and do all that kind of stuff. That's great. But you have to also realize that sometimes people that are around you and that are watching you, they want to pick up the banner and charge forward and do the thing, whatever the thing is. They want to be the ones to get the recognition. So you, natural born or learned leader, you want to encourage the other people. Especially if you're a supervisor, if you're a manager, you want to encourage people on your team to pick up the banner, to go and do, quote unquote, the thing, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever industry or profession that's yours. You want to encourage those around you. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You've heard that before, right? Well, the same thing applies here. You want the people that are in your sphere of influence to know that you care enough about them to push them ahead. And trust me, if you push a lot of people ahead, you're going to have a lot of hands reaching out or reaching back to pull you with them. And that will be an effortless flight or an effortless task, because if you've got that many people reaching out for you, you must be doing something right. So that's very important. And finally, I want to talk to you about what you must do or continue to do as the leader. You have to be poured into. That's right. You see, you can't pour into other people if you have nothing. If you're an empty vessel, what is there to give? So you must constantly pour into yourself or be poured into. And how do you do that? You do that through education. You have to educate yourself, traditionally and non-traditionally. So that means books, CDs, DVDs, whatever your area of expertise is, or your profession or your industry, you have to be as best at it as possible. You need to know what are the best practices. And if it means having a coach, having a mentor, you must do that. Because if you don't do that, you will be a very poor leader. So I listen to all of my mentors, all of my coaches very closely. In fact, if they shift left, I'm shifting with them. If they shift right, I'm shifting with them. Why? Because I do not want to miss one morsel. Now, if I shift and I realize I already know that, it's okay. At least I shifted and I got confirmation or reconfirmation that that's something I'm in tune with. But if they shift left or right and I don't shift to get the information, too bad for me. I should have probably shifted with them just to be sure that I have all the little nuggets, all the little morsels of information so that I can share that with other people who may not be as fortunate. And one thing about a leader, you must be willing to invest in yourself. Investing isn't always money, but that is a factor. You have to invest in yourself. When you get those books, those DVDs, those CDs, yes, it's a cost. Whether it's $7.95 or $20.95, it doesn't matter. Whether it's a conference, a boot camp, yes. But in addition to that, you have to be willing to really invest your time. And I say it slowly because time is something you can never get back, and time is something that we all want more of. And if you can invest your time to learn more, to be better, boy, what an education. All right? So remember that, it's lonely, but you have to pour into other people, and definitely you need to pour into yourself. So those are 3 tidbits I just wanted to share with you. And remember, most importantly, radiate the brain and change the game.